They called it Vein 13, a shaft so deep and newly mapped. The engineers swore it hadn't shown up on any prior geological surveys. We joked that the mountain had been hiding it, keeping its darkest secret tucked under layers of time. They sent 6 of us to check it out, 4 miners and 2 engineers. The company wanted new yields. We wanted danger pay. They also gave us a bird. Trix, a scrappy little canary in a wired cage, wasn't much to look at, but she was tradition and old safety measure. If she stopped chirping, we'd know something was wrong. We thought that was all we had to worry about: gas, dust, the usual mine hazards. We were wrong. The first hour inside Vein 13 was uneventful. It was tight, humid, claustrophobic. We all agreed it felt wrong, like being watched, but we pushed on. We laid down our charges, prepped the lines, and double-checked the old cart rails. I noticed something odd as I moved ahead of the group. My headlamp flickered, then stabilized. That happens in older tunnels, so I didn't say anything. But then out of the corner of my eye, I caught something, a flicker of movement, low to the ground, small, gone as soon as I turned. I stopped and scanned. Nothing. Just rock and dust, and the feeling that something had just pulled itself back into the darkness beyond my light's edge. We weighed the final TNT charge at the far end of the shaft. I watched the fuse snake out across the floor, coiled like a sleeping serpent. Clear out. Our foreman, Hank, yelled. We ran. The wick hissed to life. But then something made me stop. There was a sound, soft, wet, like tiny feet scuttling across loose stone. The hairs on my neck rose. I turned just in time to see movement behind the TNT, shapes racing for the fuse. Then, boom. The explosion rocked the entire tunnel. We were thrown to the ground, coughing in the sudden blackness. Dust everywhere. No, 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 someone yelled. We brought the whole ceiling down. We were sealed in. The tunnel behind us was collapsed. Our way out was gone. As the dust began to settle, our headlamps flicked on one by one. Trix, still in her cage, was finally screeching, shrieking like a thing possessed. Wings flapping hard enough to dent the metal bars. We turned toward the new opening Vein 13's pocket, the fresh one we just unearthed. And that's when Benny screamed. We whipped our lights toward him. He was on the ground being dragged, feet kicking wildly, nails clawing at the floor. Something had wrapped around his ankles, hands, clawed, gray, leathery, too many fingers. Grab him, Hank shouted. But Benny was gone, pulled backward into the new pocket, his screams echoing until they were cut off like a switch. Silence, then movement. Tiny silhouettes gathering beyond the blown wall. Dozens of them. Hundreds of them. Their eyes reflected our headlamps in eerie clusters like insects blinking in the dark. That's when we knew they were coming. Panic broke out, we ran. But there was nowhere to go, just the caved-in shaft behind us. The deeper we went, the tighter the tunnels became, and they followed. You'd hear them first scuttling like rats with nails, then a scream. One of us would disappear, always dragged toward that pit, toward the breach in the rock that should have never been opened. Hank tried to fight back, swinging a pickaxe, but they swarmed him, crawled up his back, bit through his suit. He choked on his own blood before he hit the floor. Trix had stopped making noise altogether. Eventually, only I remained. Me and Trix, who just stared out from her cage with wide, glassy eyes. She'd seen it all. She knew I could have hidden, waited to die, that wasn't enough. Not after what they did to my crew, my friends. I strapped what was left of the TNT to my back. 3 sticks. Enough, I hoped. And I crawled into their nest. It was a place of bones. Thousands. Animals, birds, human. Their lair wasn't a tunnel, it was a temple. Ancient. A vault of damp stone and breathing walls. Whispers followed me, though no mouths moved. They watched me from cracks and crevices. They didn't charge. They didn't bite. They waited. I set the TNT against a column of stone carved with faces. Some were screaming, others smiling. I struck the match. The fuse hissed to life, but then they moved. Like a tide of flesh and claws, they crawled over me, burying me, pressing their tiny, needle-sharp hands into my chest and face. I screamed as the match dropped from my fingers. One of them calmly smothered the wick between two gnarled hands. Others covered my mouth, my eyes, my ears, cutting off the world. Everything went black. They didn't kill me. They let me listen. I heard the rescue team hours, days later, voices, tools, lights breaking through. I felt the pressure lift, then I heard them gasp. And I heard Trix, the first thing through the breach, flying wild and panicked past the rescuers, her wings beating like the last warning bell before a storm. Then silence. What the hell happened here? Someone whispered, and then, oh my God. The lamps lit up the lair. Blood, bodies, bones hanging from hooks, gnawed clean. And then they saw me. I wasn't dead, but I wasn't myself anymore. They pulled me out screaming. I kept trying to tell them, don't dig deeper, don't dig deeper. But it was too late. The pocket is open, and they're patient.